I took a little pause there to talk to the owner of the tank museum. Some new information on that T-34. It was actually acquired from Czechoslovakia. It was acquired by England. After the Soviet Union failed, they kind of just wanted to get rid of all these excess tanks because they didn't need them. They weren't part of the Soviet bloc anymore. What the hell do we need all these tanks for? So that actually got sold to British film companies. And when the British film companies wanted to get rid of some of their props, this museum ended up acquiring it. And that over there, which I believe I didn't actually do many of the vehicles on that side, so we need to finish up here and then circle back around. Doing all right, sir. This here, I think, is just a joke vehicle somebody made, because it looks nothing like what a tank should look like. It's a joke vehicle, I think. Let me look. 1980s period U.S. armament tennis ball shooting two-man tank ride. This thing would launch tennis balls at people. It's hilarious. But yeah, that over there is a self-propelled howitzer. And this is a gun of some sort. This is a 25mm Bushmaster chain gun. My word almighty. It is amazing. Well, hey, look, there's a little thing here. You could switch between HE and... which is HE, and I assume that says AP. I can't tell because of this cord. That's amazing. I was half worried when I saw that gentleman riding up. He was going to say, hey, can you stop filming or stop touching things, please? I was worried. Really worried for a second there. I was worried I'd done something wrong. If I'm not mistaken, this is a 20mm cannon. This is the, this is really, really used in a, well, things like it are used in most, APCs nowadays. Some sort of minor cannon. And here I believe we have another Patton or one of the 1960s tanks. Yep, here we go. Get another M60 Patton. This one has two machine guns. It has a 1919 A4 E1 30 cal and a 50 caliber Browning. Look at that, look at that. Look at that fuel efficiency. 1.13 gallons per mile. God, it's ridiculous. And then here, then we have an M108 self-propelled howitzer, which you can see has its own 50 caliber. I apologize if I didn't get you guys any good footage of that. I was busy looking at that thing. And there we've got the big old spotlight, which I think is visible light and infrared. I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, I think we did look at some of this because I mentioned the commander's coupe. Right there, we've got a commander's cupola with an actual mounted machine gun. As I've said before, I'm pretty sure that was one of the early designs that kind of got rid of that because the tank commander already has enough to do. Adding him needing to shoot at somebody, not exactly the best idea. And here we have a anti-aircraft Soviet machine anti-aircraft gun. It says it has a direct hit, which you can see right here, right there. Then if I go around, right there. Excuse me, buddy. I'm trying to lean over you. Right there. So that right through and probably got the gunner. This is an anti-aircraft gun. I'm not entirely sure which one it is. It is this is from 563 Anti-Aircraft Artillery Battalion. That's probably who adopted it. And over here, we have a big boy. Yet again, another Commander cupola with a machine gun. I believe this is a Patton, but I'm not entirely sure. Yeah, this is an A2 Patton tank. Incorporated a novel 152 gun launcher. Also could fire an infrared guided missile or a cannon with a combustible fuse. Had several faults, and that prevented it from being successful. That's disappointing. Most of the 540 vehicles being broken up for scrap? That's disappointing. Now here is what I like to call my favorite tank. Also, before we do that, you can see very good era German uniforms here. This gentleman's wearing a soldier's uniform. You can see that gentleman actually has glasses. He's got a Kar 98. This gentleman has a machine pistole, or machine pistol, however you say it in German, but an MP40. Or MP38s and MP40s, or whichever one it was. There's MP40 and another version of it that look very similar. I'm not going to be specific. But here we go. Here we go, a German World War II Panzer IV. And this is one of only very few still existing today in private hands, meaning owned by a private museum. Now here is the Panzer IV. This is not a Tiger. If you call it a Tiger, you're an idiot. I'm sorry, that was rude. If you call it a Tiger, you're wrong. This bad boy was the backbone of the German Army's Panzer forces from 1940 onwards, mostly late in the war. This was the mainstay of the German Army. There was also Panzer IIIs. It was very kind of split between. I can't remember if they made more Panzer IVs or Panzer IIIs. I'd have to look that metric up. But this bad boy is a great tank. Of course, as most German vehicles do, they had some problems, but this vehicle was good. It's got a decent gun, it's got decent armor, but later in the war, most tanks could start to penetrate it, which caused a problem. It's a very decent tank. And now, we will go along here to see all these little guns. So what we've got right here is a 20mm Oerlikon automatic cannon. And then here we have a 37mm infantry gun. I believe this is one of the before the war, before tanks got really big. This is what they thought would be a decent gun thing. I mean, they have that gun, I believe, on like that was the top gun on the Grant. And then here we have another field gun, two similar field guns. And here we have a Swedish Army 37mm anti-tank gun. Different shield design. That one's just a flat piece of metal. That one's actually and then here is a Japanese 47mm anti-tank gun. As you can see, that versus that. This could penetrate more, but that one could penetrate far more. And here we have a Gatling gun. Not much to say there. Decent weapon for its time. And here, this is just a storage wagon that would take things, but this right here, that's a nuclear warhead. That's just a big missile. Kind of terrifying, if I'm going to be honest. Have your picture taken as a soldier, huh? I probably look stupid. And here we've got a couple other things. There's some mortars. More mortars. That, I believe, is a SEAL delivery vehicle. This is what the SEALs used back in the 60s to deploy out of other submarines. We've got more mortars. Excuse me. And we've got a big old mortar and a machine gun. And there's actually what looks like a cannon in the background. Alright, and now we're going into the third building, I believe. We're going to start with this. Here, we have a couple more field guns. We have a 4.7mm Infanteriekanone, which is infantry cannon, I believe Austrian. And we have a 37mm Japanese anti-tank gun. And then you can see all the different types of ammunition here. I don't know what that is. That looks like some sort of shrapnel. And then you can see here we've got what looks like sabots. There's shells. Over there we've got... the name of those rounds escapes me. I don't want to say wrong. I'm not an expert in munitions. And here we have that, I think yeah, here we go. Oerlikon automatic cannon. Alright, and here we have what looks like a Swiss field gun. Hang on. Nope. Actually, that's a German thing. It's a lightweight infantry howitzer. As you can see, it's got a good shield for the troops, and it has a decent arc, so fire off into the distance. Here we have what I believe is an anti-tank gun. Yep, British Army 18-pounder field gun. So not anti-tank, this is artillery. My apologies. Now that is a definitely unique looking thing. I've not seen that before. What is this? Let's see. Oh, it's a 3.7. I'm curious what it has on the tip of it, though. I think that's just the equivalent of, like, them adding a rocket to it. I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that. Well, on the left, we have a U.S. Army 3-inch field gun. You can definitely tell it's seen better days. The wood looks restored, but the metal definitely could use work if they were ever going to restore that. And here we have what I think is another field gun. This is a French anti-tank gun. Yeah, I can tell it's French. The French tended to have a little bit dark gray, kind of similar to the Germans early war. Over here, we have a 75mm howitzer, M2, M3, and PAC M1A1. 1943. And over here, we have what looks like a bunch of little kids' tanks, which is just, it warms my heart there. It's adorable. We need more of this. It's just sad what we have nowadays. Here we go. 57mm anti-tank gun. Now you can see they definitely beefed the armor protection of the troop up. You can actually, you can see it's nice and grooved. I actually think, I can't tell. Yeah, it's a spiral groove. It goes. So that, those that don't know, the grooving on that actually makes the round start to spin, so that way it's stable when it comes out. It's a lot likelier to go continue going straight. Over here we have a U.S. Army 3-inch field gun, which unfortunately you can see has been welded over in many places, which is sad. Looks like some of their fluorescents are going out, but that actually makes things a little bit easier. That's not as harsh a light. Here we go. World War I 7.7cm field gun for the Germans. And on the left, a model ZIS 2 1943 57mm anti-tank gun. Getting later in the war, this started to become much more easier to penetrate stuff with. 37mm could penetrate light armor, but not the heavier stuff. Alright, now I'm going to pause for a second and go get myself some water, because, good lord, it is sweltering in here.